Welcome to the Fighting Couch Potatoes. I got Liquid Gold Steve not shutting the fuck up.
What's up?
Start this shit over. Welcome to the Fighting Couch Potatoes. I'm Kadawfi Crush, and I'm joined with MattMatt.
Chobin Hood got whacked.
And Liquid Gold Steve.
Candy.
God.
And today...
No one knows what the fuck we're talking about.
Not yet, they don't. And today we're going to be talking about Secret of Mana, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you nerds out there probably know what's going on. But for those of you who don't, we actually got a chance to play through it for our first times together. We actually played it 3-player with a multi-tap for the Super Nintendo. Guys, what'd y'all think about it overall?
Dated. Don't ever step around the fucking cartridge or the whole Super Nintendo while trying to play it. What?
I was going to say the same thing.
Man, that was three times the same boss. Same boss that we beat the shit out of 3 separate times.
Yeah, we played it on the original hardware, and the game cart that I have is actually pretty old, and, well...
There's no autosave.
No autosave.
Okay, overall, other than that, I think it was a great game. It was a great team game to play, because even if I played it by myself, I don't think I would get the full experience, because you have to worry about 3 people.
Right.
And you're a part of the team, but you do your certain part. You don't have to worry about the other person.
Well, it's
fucked up or dying.
You and 2 others, and you're sitting there trying to charge an attack, and they're just blocking your attacks. Like, fucking quit! Because the stamina and the stagger bullshit's a little weird in that. You know, like, I understand it, but at the same time, it kind of, with it being 3 characters on the screen at once, you're more likely than not always going to have something like that happening.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it allows you to, like, stun lock enemies, essentially. And, like, if you can time the shit right and do it right, you can stun lock the hell out of them. But they can do it to you, too. So,
yeah, with Sleep Flower and fucking Paralyze.
Yeah.
Or Balloon.
Oh, Balloon. I love Balloon. But anyway.
No, Sleep Flower is the best. Remember that fiend head that we fucking bullied? So we could upgrade, what was it? What was the tree one?
Druid.
No.
Yeah. The tree? It was Druid.
Was it Druid?
It was absolutely. But anywho, alright, so for those of you who don't know what the Secret of Mana is, essentially it is a Super Nintendo action RPG. It's literally the first of its kind where it's full action, full RPG, and multiplayer, and it goes up to 3 players. It's one of the ones that looks a lot like The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, but it does. Not Ocarina of Time. Shit, my fault. Link to the Past.
What the
I was
fuck?
like, what are you gonna do that? My bad. Link to the Past.
What game were you playing?
I was playing all of them at the same time, in the future and the past. Yeah, it looks like Link to the Past. The art design and all of it. You kind of have like a kind of a top-down isometric view, sort of, kind of your characters. Full of color, full of personality.
Really pretty.
Very pretty game. And, I mean, for Super Nintendo
Even that, like, that small bit, to have that pretty of a game, they would have to put a lot into it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the music. I'm not a big fan of music. I keep saying this, but I'm always talking about music. I can't help it, man. But, like, I've been sitting there catching myself at the menu screen jamming.
The save game screen, all that shit.
I like the boss fight music, because it's always the same. Yep. You know when you're in a boss fight.
I really like y'all like
the ominous music too. That shit was actually pretty nice when we were fighting the ghosts and where Fana was. In
those tombs or whatever, not the tombs, but the like.
We were in the desert when
not like a fortress. What the hell's the thing called? Not a cathedral, like
a pyramid.
It wasn't a pyramid. What? No. Why was it?
It wasn't a dungeon.
It wasn't a pyramid,
but it was like a dungeon.
It was. I mean, it was a game dungeon, but it doesn't matter. It was something.
I really like the. I know
a temple.
It was a temple.
The word is a temple.
I really like the sad music, like the quote unquote sad music. The slowed down, like that was
like that fluty music. Yeah, that was pretty good.
When the maid, are we going to spoil on everything? Or we?
Fuck yeah!
I mean,
the game.
I mean, we're going to talk about this. You know what I'm talking about? We're going to say it. We feel like saying, but like
the game came out in 1993.
Before we get too terribly far on anybody, we should probably get it introduced.
Oh, the story and all that.
Probably legitimately.
All right. Well, you start off.
I'll be more than happy. Just pick up with me if you don't mind. All right. So over here, in Secret of Mana, you start the game off, and you're a boy. a young boy. I think his name is Boy.
His name is Boy until you change his name.
Right, until you change his name, you actually have the option to
like a Pokemon game.
pick a name of your character, of your main character. This boy, he's essentially an orphan living in this village called Patos. And this boy's hanging out near this well, or not this well, this waterfall where he shouldn't be hanging out at with a couple other boys, and this goofy ass ends up falling down a waterfall. Now, you'd think this kid be dead, but apparently fall damage doesn't exist in this game.
Maybe it was a deep water. Maybe it was a
Bruh, we'll get to the fall damage issue in a minute. So he falls down there, and he runs into a sword and a stone. I know.
A rusty ass sword.
That's rusty, dusty. I mean, it was actually kind of shiny until he touched it. And then it sent off this big energy wave and then became this rusty ass sword. Essentially what happened there when he released that sword from the stone, he released monsters into his village and around the world.
So he pulled it like Arthur.
Yeah, and it just opened up.
What did you name your character?
What did I name my character?
What did you name your character?
What did Kadawfi Crush name his character? I think it was Crush, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have, once we introduce everybody, I have the actual names of the characters, the canon names of the characters.
Yeah.
Because they were outside the North America releases in Australia. They had the actual names.
Yeah, the real names. The real deal names.
But so you get to the sword and you fight a few enemies.
Yeah, on your way back home, finding your way back to your little raggy village.
Because your homies are just waiting for you to find us so we can actually play the game.
Right. The other two main characters are actually part of the story when you find them, like most RPGs. So you go back to the village, and the village elders are like, they're pissed off at you.
That's a bad omen.
They are so pissed off at you. They're all like, hey man, fuck you. You released the monsters. We're kicking your goofy ass out. On the way to kicking your goofy ass out, a hole opens up in the middle of the village. And you fight this giant mantis monster.
You fight your first boss.
I know, off top, like you start fighting these little itty bitty little squishy things, and then this giant mantis monster out of left field in the middle of the village. Of course,
you meet Gemma.
You're supposed to defeat that, and on your way to defeating it, you get some help from a brave knight named Gemma. Gemma kind of instructs you some points through the game. He kind of just like, hey man, he's always hanging around some damn where. He's always like, hey man, you want to go over here? I'll catch up with you later. Who knows what the hell Gemma's ever doing? He's like a dope ass knight though.
Yeah,
he is.
Essentially, he sends you to the water palace.
I'd want him on support.
And on your way to the water palace, don't you get kidnapped by the goblins?
Yes, and that's when my character comes in, but I can't control my character.
Not yet.
Yeah, the killer kung fu wolf bitch.
The killer kung fu wolf bitch. She was vicious.
She's her first weapon is the glove, ladies and gentlemen, and it's not just the glove. It's like bare knuckles.
Yeah, they're
brass knuckles.
They're knuckles. I think they were called knuckles at the start.
No, spiky knuckles.
Spiky knuckles.
They were called spiky
It was
knuckles.
something like that. I know it's the power glove as soon as you update it. That Nintendo whack bullshit.
No,
hey, don't be hating on the power glove.
Hold on.
Play with power.
I like the power glove. I like the power glove, but later on, my favorite out of all the weapons is the move gloves because you put people to sleep.
And I was mad they never gave you the Infinity Gauntlet, like straight up.
Hold on. Y'all crazy.
Fine, I'll do it myself.
Right. So you meet my character in the story,
right? So you end up getting kidnapped, not kidnapped. Your ass is about to get tossed into a pot and cooked.
No, you're in the pot. You're just waiting to get cooked
by the goblins. And the goblins go fuck off doing whatever they're doing while they're cooking you. And baby girl pops up through the woods. And she's like, yo, why your punk ass in the pot?
If you don't believe us, look it up.
Word for word, why your punk ass in the pot? But anyway, so she goes on to save you, of course, because you're
got a game.
You're a punk ass with a rusty sword.
You don't know shit. She knows what to do.
Right. And then I think she splits up from you from there. She's like on her own little adventure.
Yeah, she's trying to find later on dialogue.
She's trying to find dialogue. So just in this point of the game, when you're still kind of controlling the main character, you get a lot of the mechanics down. You start to learn a lot of how it works, especially the combat, like we were talking about earlier, and the stamina. This is one of those games where, like, every time you swing, you drop some of your stamina.
That stamina sucked.
Hold
on. The first hit, you took all your stamina, but you could throw it like 77%, 67%.
Right. So you have like a stamina bar below your character's health and name. And what'll happen is whenever you swing, I think with the B button, it'll drop the stamina down to 0, and you'll start to see the bar refill up to 100. When you're at 100, you'll actually be able to attack at 100% of your physical power for the time.
If you do it early, it just drops your fucking damage. And it's like you can keep your enemy stuck there unless they dodge, like later on when they actually start to dodge. But it's just not worth it.
Right, it's not.
It gets kind of like a nuisance after a while.
It's like it's a game about timing, is what it is. It's like, and it's developed for the three of you to do this. But again, when you're playing with just one character, it's a bit difficult. It's a little hard to get a hold of because you do a lot of attack, walk away, attack, walk away, attack, walk away. Now
this is a good team game.
Now, with these weapons and whatnot, and your characters, of course, you get a bunch of different weapons. It's an RPG. Who the hell gets one weapon in an RPG?
Do we want to...
Not yet. You don't want to do that all yet. You don't want to do that all yet. But, like, this sword that you get, this rusty sword that you get, they allude to you that it's supposed to hold all the power of mana. So that eventually it's supposed to upgrade. I'm kind of figuring out how this all works. Anyway, you make your way up to the water tower. You talk to Luca, the water sage.
Are you sure you talk to Luca first before you get me to Pandora?
Yeah. Why would I get you to Pandora first if you disappeared on me?
Meet me in Pandora.
Because I meet up with Gemma first. Meet up with Gemma, and then why the hell do I meet back up with you?
Meet Gemma at the Water Palace.
Right.
Yep.
At the Water Palace, yeah. So, thank you. So you make your way up to the Water Palace, and you meet up with Gemma, and Gemma introduces you to Luca, which is the water sage. She's the one who protects the mana seed of water of the Water Palace.
Yeah, Undine.
Undine. What happens next after that, Mr. MattMatt?
From there, we go to the mushroom people, right?
Well, we didn't just go straight there. No. You jumped way ahead. Never mind. All right, so
if it's not where you're at right now, then the next thing you do is go to Pandora.
You go to Pandora for that's where you meet. That's where you actually meet up with Baby Girl.
Yeah.
You actually That's right. That's right. So you catch the Water Palace. You run down to Pandora. For whatever reasons. Oh, they tell you to come down there because something weird's going on in the kingdom of Pandora. Time for you to go check it out.
And you meet the king.
You run down there, you meet the king, you start to see the people are kind of weird. There's like a temple off to the side where people are really weird and they're wearing these stupid ass masks. And you can't talk to anybody at the temple.
Because they don't speak English.
Right. So then you end up going into the kingdom, meeting the king, and you run into your female character. You have to go through a whole cutscene with her in order to get her on your team. And then when you finally get on your team, you can name her. In Liquid Gold, what did you name her? Yuri.
Because she can throw hands.
She can throw hands. She can throw
absolutely. Throw kicks, hands, throw you. That was outrageous, man.
She had a special move where you can just like push people and then just throw them and German suplex them. Like,
which is true.
Turn that shit into fucking River City Ransom.
Real fast. I mean, this is kind of like a beat 'em up RPG the way the game
kind of, sort of, yeah.
It's man, I'm telling you, if we would have found that perfect timing, we would have been like...
We did, once we got magic.
No. That's when everything got toxic.
I ain't even going to get in that right yet. Not right yet. I'm going to get into that. Because there are some things about this game that are just fantastic and some things that are just fucking annoying. One of the things about the game that's pretty awesome is there are multiple weapons, like I said. I think there's like 8 weapons that you can collect overall. You have that rusty sword, and Yuri comes with...
There's 8 weapons. The sword, the whip, the spear, the bow, the boomerang,
the trident.
Oh yeah, I put the javelin in the trident.
The javelin.
Hold on, the javelin's a trident.
Damn right, it's a trident.
Well,
okay, then there's only 7.
You're missing one.
The axe.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, the fucking bullshit axe they handed us.
The axe is kind of nice, but
the axe was horrible. But I had to use it.
We made anyway. Hold on. let me fast forward.
Introduce characters.
Let me fast forward. It's just a little bit forward. All right, so you end up going to the Kingdom of Pandora, meeting up with Yuri for this gameplay. Yuri has a situation going on where she's supposed to be married off to a noble. And his name's Dialogue. He's also a soldier, I think a commander in the army for the royal army.
Captured.
So she's on a mission essentially to find Dialogue, which she actually can stop you from going to explore too far off your path because she's looking for Dialogue, and she's like, "Hey, don't go that way. Don't go that way."
Yeah, I'm trying to lead you in the right direction.
I'm looking for my mans. You end up being led through towards the forest. what is it called? The mystic forest, the mythical forest, the witches forest.
No, it has to be the mythical and mystic forest.
It's one of those forests, but it's like a mythical forest. You end up running up to catch a cutscene of Dialogue and his soldiers getting ready to go to the forest to defeat the witch. Then they disappear through this little portal.
And you can't go there because you ain't got the whip.
You can't go there. You can go through the portal and you can go so far, but you can't cross. You can't cross away because you're missing two important items: the whip and the axe.
Mm-hmm.
And the person.
Which that leads you to go down to find a blacksmith. Because to find the blacksmith, you got to get to the dwarves. You get to the dwarves, you got to get down to Gaia's navel.
We had to go find Andre.
We had to go find Andre of Astora.
Then we had to find some little ass sprite that was a trickster trying to cheat us out of our money.
Hey, y'all believed it.
That little sprite was tricking us, talking about he was broke. But anyway, so we end up getting down to Gaia's navel, and on the way to Gaia's navel, we actually we don't meet him for the first time. It's probably like our second time meeting him, but we get to meet one of our coolest characters, Neko.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
I fucking love Neko.
Neko is the only person in the
not yet. It wasn't not yet.
Neko's the only person in the whole game who's an animal person. He's a cat man. Why is he a cat man? Nobody seems to notice. I don't know.
Why is Neko in all the places that we should be before us?
And why does he charge
double?
Prices?
Yeah, Neko he's a shopkeeper. He's a guy you can save at. You find him in what appears to be random places when it's your first time playing. Mm-hmm. But he tends to always show up right around where you're getting your ass kicked at. It's right where he likes to show up at.
But it's going to be more expensive.
And he's going to charge you double for all your items.
Oh, man.
And give you a cheap sale price.
So we mentioned saving just now with Neko. One of the things about saving in this game, a cool little thing, you end up having to go to an inn. Most games you have to go to an inn. But this one, they let you go to sleep. They put you in a little animation and put all your little characters in these little beds, and each inn always has 3 beds, conveniently. Mm-hmm. Not like
couldn't
6.
Be 2.
Couldn't be 2. Couldn't be 6. It's just 3 beds.
Everybody's got to sleep outside.
She's got to sleep. You sleep in the window.
Usually.
So we end up getting here, and we catch a ruse from the elder of the dwarves and the sprite. He's a little pink-haired character, like in anime. Point out the main character.
Damn right.
All of our characters are actually decorated in some sort of pink, one way or the other.
Your character is.
He's got the headband. Yuri's got the
pink
outfit, and then Fumble.
He has pink hair.
Fumble has pink hair. I named my character Fumble. By the way,
it couldn't be Fumble.
So fun fact for you: the canon names of everybody is Randy is the hero. The woman is Prim, and the sprite is Popoy. Popoy.
Something like that. It's Poi.
No, Popoy, not Poi.
Poi. It doesn't matter what his real name is because we changed the shit out of it.
but that's what one really cool about having 3 characters is not all of us have the same abilities.
Or stats, even.
Well, yeah, because your character was a hero. He was basically a knight. He couldn't use magic, which was funny because you always got your magic stolen. But you didn't have anything taken off you.
Snatching no magic all the time.
I really wish I just called me and Matthew and you got the
that's literally
taken away.
That's literally like, ow. Anyway.
I think that hurt. Might have tickled a little bit.
After we met the sprite, because we fought, Tropical, we met the sprite.
Right.
Then we fought another one. Didn't we fight another boss?
We did. After we meet the sprite, we end up also meeting Watts. He's our blacksmith that we came here looking for.
Yeah.
Watts tells us that, you need some orbs to make these weapons any better. Now we have the sprite. Now we have up to 3 weapons. We have the rusty sword. We have the spike knuckle? The spike knuckle. And then we have the bow.
It was the whip. He had the whip first.
He didn't have the whip first. He had the bow first.
We had to go find the whip.
We had to find the whip.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I'm 100% sure.
Because it pissed us off for a while. Neck thick.
My neck might be thick. I can't.
Shut up.
I like how y'all want to argue with me about this whole thing. Like we didn't play the same game together.
It's been a long time.
It has been a long time. We've been actually at this game for a couple months, just trying to get our schedules to work out together and stuff. It's not even that long of a game. But when it's
really isn't.
But when it's your first time playing and you want to touch everything and look at everything and talk to everybody and
I did figure out there are 9 for every single one.
I actually went looking through that earlier. We'll get there in a minute about the. So the blacksmith tells us that we need orbs to go ahead and be able to upgrade our weapons. So kind of part of this game, we're looking for a bunch of weapons. We're looking for magics, which we get from the mana seeds and whatnot, and we're also looking for weapon orbs to upgrade our weapons and make them better, make us stronger. One of the really cool things about having all of these types of weapons, the 8 different types, is you don't have to use, really any of them, except for the ones you want. Like if you want to stick to the axe or you want to stick to the whip, you can do so.
You're damn right. The whip's the best in the game.
Gold stayed on the bow and the damn spiky knuckles all the time.
I stayed with the javelin and the
boomerang.
The boomerang. Oh man, God, what a cool weapon.
Now you stuck with magic.
Magic and the whip.
No, magic.
Magic.
Yeah, fucking magic. He stopped that whip got useless real fast. But,
they handed me Salamando and I was just done for.
So what goes on, like every time we end up somewhere, there's always some kind of a boss or something to fight that leads us to the next part of the story. I always thought that was really cool about how the story worked out. It would just kind of lead you there. Very rarely were you just left like, what the fuck am I doing?
Finding a sea hare's tail.
Yeah, that one was weird. But anyway, from there, the game starts to open up a little bit more for us, but it takes some more time. We have a few more temples to get to, a few more bosses to run through, and then the game finally opens up to us, sends us to another country down the road while we're hunting down. What's his name?
Thanatos.
Thanatos.
Man, when was the first time we actually saw Thanatos?
First time we saw Thanatos is when we ran back to the Kingdom of Pandora. When we finally finished off the witch, figured out, sorry ass Diluc, he's been like super kidnapped by that sorry witch, and she made us fight a giant tiger. A giant lightning tiger with spikes. Yeah.
The tiger was nice.
It whooped his ass though, didn't we?
Oh, didn't we have to go back to the water palace so we can get Undine for both of us?
I'm sure we did.
I think that's when we saw Thanatos the first time.
That wasn't the first time we saw Thanatos. He did show up at the water palace fucking off, but that was later.
Oh, okay.
That was once the seed started getting weak. I'm not going to sit here and go through every article of the story.
Let's talk about gameplay.
It's a very deep story as far as going from one place. I could spend 5 hours telling you what happened from here to the end of the game. Mm-hmm. Essentially what we're doing in this story, the whole point of the Secret of Mana is the fact that the mana is starting to dry up in the world. And we are tasked with collecting all the mana seeds, reviving the Sword of Mana, and stopping the evil fucks from bringing up the Mana Fortress, which is like a super sap on mana. It's a giant fortress hidden under a glacier that saps all the mana out of the area.
Yeah.
The dimension,
sort of, kind of. It's almost like a catalyst for them to use it.
Right.
So they can transfer the energy. They can siphon the energy and make it usable. Right.
And so like our entire goal is to get with our all the mana seeds, and all the summons that protect the mana seeds are essentially part of the mana seeds. Like we mentioned earlier, the first one with the water, that was Undine. Who was our next one?
I think it was Gnome.
It was Gnome
because we met the dwarves.
Yeah, that's right. Gnome.
We hung out with Gnome.
God, Gnome. They never should have handed me Gnome. I can't tell you how many of the bosses in the game I soloed because of Gnome.
So I found out
Sylphid? Yeah.
Is a wind. I thought he was
wind god.
I thought it was thunder
or whatever.
I thought because it was thunder saber.
Right. Sylphid was the wind god.
It's basically all the elements.
You guys just didn't like Undine's ice saber. That was
let's talk about that. Let's break this down a minute about some of the magic. All right. So
let's talk about gameplay.
So once we start catching,
let's get the rest of them out.
You gonna tell me hold on again?
Let's get the rest of them out here then.
Hold on 4 times already. We were trying to do that, but you want to do it?
Hold on.
Let's do it. All right, so we're going to go back to, we have Undine, our water spirit. Then we have Gnome, our earth spirit. Then we have Sylphid.
Salamando?
Was it Salamando next or was it Sylphid next?
It was Sylphid.
No, we got Salamando before we got Sylphid because we had to go to that ice village.
Maybe we went to a different spot.
I think he's right. Because I know once the game splits, once it lets us go to the next continent, we can choose a path, whether it goes Sylphid or whether it goes Salamando.
Who did we get early? We got someone.
Undine and Gnome.
No, I mean not early in the game. I mean we went and got someone we shouldn't have had when we were going through the game.
Probably Luna or Luna.
No, not Luna and Lumen. That was like the last ones. It was it might have been Salamando. Because we got water, right? And then we got earth.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got Salamando by mistake because we were supposed to go to the desert first.
So what we're going to attempt to do here, we're going to keep getting off track. Let's try this again. All right? We're going to try this again. So we have the water spirit. We have Undine. Then we have Gnome, the earth spirit. Then we have Salamando, the fire spirit. Then we have Sylphid, the air spirit, wind or air spirit. Then we have, what next, Steve?
Should be Shade for him.
We have Shade, the darkness. Then we have Lumina, the light. And then we have Luna, the
moon.
The moon. And then we have Dryad, the fucking tree guy.
The mana tree.
Yeah, you called him Druid earlier. I told you it wasn't Druid, it was Dryad. That's why it was you said Druid.
Same guy. We didn't even really get to know him. He just kind of like showed up and then we used him.
I didn't get to know him till later when I
honestly, he was
farmed his ass so we could do the final boss.
With each of these spirits, we get a different type of magic out of each one of them. Of course, those magics correlate to their elements. With someone like Undine, we end up getting water magic, which is a lot of healing magic, freezing magic, and curing magic, remedy magic.
And the acid storm, too, to take the defense away.
That's what I was trying to talk about earlier, is your character... The girl had status, right? That could boost our attack. My character had offensive shit. Slow down, defense down, shit like that. Salamander for me?
For me.
For you?
Fire.
Attack. I mean, here.
Okay.
You gotta have some. I'm not saying that at all.
I found out that Salamando, it was Blaze Wall, makes the attack get cut in half and puts him in golf.
Yeah, see, it's a status.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, I was too busy exploding them.
Yeah, for sure. So what we end up getting, a lot of times the girl, she can actually cast magics on your weapons. She can cast an element type magic on your weapon, whether it be fire, lightning, ice, whatever. And each of these types of magics have an effect that go along with when you attack, such as when you use the ice magic or the water magic, you turn motherfuckers into snowmen.
Mm-hmm. Petrify them or stuff like that.
Petrify.
Well, I know. I'm saying it's a status, like the title of the video, Chobin Hood gets whacked. That's from really heavy attacks.
Yep.
Like it's not just magic. It's every type of attack. There's criticals. There's stuff like that. Like it's deeper than that. But, you know what I mean?
But
yeah, absolutely.
Ice Saber sucked. Ice Saber did suck.
Ice Saber, because you put it on us too often. For no fucking reason.
Yeah,
and all we would do was freeze people, and when you're frozen, you can't deal any more damage to them. You can do it when they sleep. You cannot do them when they're frozen.
Yep, they just sit there frozen like a big snowman, and you wait to kill the guy. A lot of times, we end up killing a lot of the enemies on the screen. I mean, shit, we don't like to walk away from a screen with anybody left over.
Yeah.
I mean, quite frankly. And I mean, you get a lot. That's how you get your experience. That's how you get your money. And that's also how you level up your weapons and your magic. By kills. Well, actually, your magic is by use, but everything else is pretty much by killing. A lot of times when you kill these,
in a kid game killing things.
That's right. Bunch of 6-year-olds out here slicing shit,
fighting ducks with helmets on. Got ninjas.
Captain Duck was the shit.
Captain Duck was the shit.
Got his ass throwing bombs and shit.
But so was the shit.
A lot of times when you kill these characters, you end up dropping a treasure chest. These treasure chests, you walk up to them, obviously pick them up. I like the little animation your character does where they just kind of shake them open like a kid opening up a Christmas box. Like, what's in the Christmas box?
Thank God they weren't mimics. Oh God!
I mean,
that's
not like a mimic.
but these items that come in these chests, you get various items. I mean, you can get some equipment from them.
Very rarely.
You'll get healing items, and you'll also get. You'll get death traps. You get a lot of death traps to go. Can y'all let me build it? Can y'all let me? I'm trying to get there, but y'all just. I just want candy.
I want the candy.
One of the best items you can get out of any of the boxes is a good healing item called Candy.
Candy. God damn it, Dorian.
But
sorry guys, we had to get that out.
Shout out if you get that reference.
Yeah. But those items also, like, they throw off death traps to you sometimes. Sometimes poison spikes poison your character. I think there's like a knockback trap that you didn't see. We didn't see it.
We saw that once.
We didn't see it. It was like the boxing gloves come out of the box and punch the shit out of you, which is hilarious. By the way, the first character just kind of like stunned for a while.
It was really funny finding that out the hard way because like every time a box would come up, we'd all run towards it, and then we got one that was like a death trap, and it left us with like 1 health, and then after that it was like Steve, it's your turn. You get the box. You get the box this time.
No, man, I get the box
I ain't touching that shit. Yeah. Fuck you, I ain't going doom trapped on my ass.
Can't tell you how many times. We don't need it. We got a full inventory. You never know.
Candy won't fit.
Damn it, Steve.
Chocolate won't fit.
Chocolate roll jam. Yeah.
That was one of those other things. Like your inventory was extremely limited.
There was only 4 for everything.
4 for any item.
Yeah, which is bullshit.
Which is bullshit, but I mean...
But you think about it, it's in kids' pockets.
It's not the hardest game in the world. So this
game is technically not technically, it is a spinoff of Final Fantasy, which around 93, which Final Fantasy was out?
Final Fantasy 3.
It was 3?
Yeah.
What was the inventory like, or system like? Was it like that?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Oh, so someone was just a fuck ass sitting over there.
Yeah, they used the circle inventory, which another game called The Secret of Evermore also used the same circle inventory, the same graphic style, and even the same attack style. It's actually a 1-player game, which you get to run through with your dog. And you go through time periods and shit. So like every time you go through a time period, like a portal or whatever, your character changes and so does your dog. Like at one point, your dog's like this massive fucking wolf, and then like, the next point he's a poodle. But that poodle's vicious.
All right. Let's get back to Secret of Mana. All right, guys, I gotta ask, what was your worst boss?
The slimes. The goddamn slimes. The ones that just sit there and grow and just put acid storms on you.
Those aren't bosses, though.
Those are bosses. The boss music plays. Ergo, it is a boss.
They don't count as a boss. They probably do count as a boss. I forgot which slimes you're talking about. There's some of the other slimes.
The fucking, what was it? The death slime. Those bullshit.
Yeah,
those are my favorite enemy because they would just keep on growing and growing. So you just
beat the shit out of them.
Which one was the, we fought a vampire.
Yeah, we fought a couple vampires. We
fought some dragons, fought a vampire.
My least favorite boss was the wall. The
wall
with the eyeballs. And like it would shoot lasers at you through its 3 eyeballs.
You ever notice
fucking Tien Shinhan? Sorry ass shit.
You ever notice that as soon as we started getting good and got magic that we can use against something like that, we never saw a wall ever again?
Yeah, wall just disappeared.
Wall ran away.
Wall was like, nah, dude, you're good. You're good.
You know, there's like 3 other wall fights, right? We never saw another.
They ran. Nah. They say, "Oh, they figured it out." Never mind.
Replace them with the dragon.
I hated the Minosaurs or that bull. When they grow the fucking.
Oh, for no reason.
Bro, yeah, he would just like turn his head sideways, and the graphics would let him have longer horns.
That was ridiculous. Was that one of the ones I soloed? I think
no. That motherfucker whooped.
No, he whooped our asses.
Yeah, he stomped us a few times.
No, we ain't talking about how you like slid like 10 of the bosses.
But to the no names, I started trading 5,000 power slot.
999. 999.
Like that's. I kept maxing out on damage. That was the funny thing. Like the game was like, all right, I can't give you that much, man. Stop.
You gotta stop at 999, please. Stop it. Overkill.
Just imagine if we couldn't. Like if we just kept on getting stun locked and just took damage the whole time. It'd be like
1 shot a boss. I haven't 1 shot a boss.
So when it came to like the weapons, Steve already kind of talked about like what his favorite. We know Steve loved using the glove. Steve, tell us why the glove was so dope, man.
Because I get to throw hands with people. Flowers. I can throw hands with people. Flowers, fucking fish, fucking Chobin Hood, damn motherfucking
Chobin Hood.
I can fight ghosts. No, I couldn't fight ghosts.
Now, see, Steven made the bad decision by using that while being the healer And for some reason, our healer was the one who died the most.
Oh man, if we ever got in the thick of anything, you look down, the damn healer's dead. It's like,
What the fuck?
I got better later.
We got some couple wishes, it'll be alright.
Man, I got better later.
He did finally get better because like it takes time. It takes time to just like one, figure out your character, and then two, to be sitting there looking at your teammate statuses and shit the whole time and keeping it good.
Because we kept getting hit with magic.
I feel like if we did it again, I think it'd be a better fucking playthrough.
As long as we can get Flammy straight off rip.
Oh my god, Flammy.
Okay, so talking about shitty names.
Hold on, wait. Matt, I want to ask you a question, homie.
Okay.
Same question I asked Liquid Gold. Favorite weapon and why?
The fucking whip. Because the whip be putting motherfuckers to work. Because the whip has the longest reach in the game, but it's really... That's the thing about the stamina again, you know? Because like you would never be able to get those fast hits. You'd have to hit, wait. But like with the whip, I was able to stay back because I would use magic anyway. I was able to stun lock people from behind, and you'd be charging up attacks because every orb...
You never let us hit it, though.
Well, yeah, because I'd probably be in the middle of casting a spell.
Right.
But that's when you'd be charging up your attacks because every orb that you get, and it would do automatic heavy attack. But then you could keep leveling it up and keep charging your attack up to 8, which, mind you, with the whip, I'll be honest, didn't really have that much difference. There was like 4 different attack animations twice.
No.
Yeah.
The Knuckles only went to 7.
The Knuckles, you turned into fucking Kid Masters one time.
Yo, actually, the Knuckle, I don't know if y'all took a look.
I think it's Dragon Claws.
It's an extreme combo at the end for the glove weapon. It is an extreme combo. Like
oh my God.
Once
we should play the PlayStation 4 version.
Like once old girl gets whoever gets the glove. Oh, that's another thing. Nobody has straight permanent weapons. You pick your own weapons. You know, that's why I was asking. That's why I was asking. Like, what weapon do you like the most?
Shared inventory and whatnot.
Me personally, my favorite weapon was that boomerang. It was the boomerang. I mean, gosh, I killed so many things with that boomerang.
It was the shuriken. It was funny as hell.
Oh, when it became the shuriken, the boomerang eventually gave me like balloon powers and gave me critical, and I love
the funniest one was Steve. The funniest one was Steve.
Wait. You gonna let me say this? I'll let you motherfuckers talk. The boomerang gave you range, and you could also slide people behind the boomerang, like behind the enemies.
Behind walls.
You know, hitting motherfuckers behind walls. I mean, that boomerang hitting across gaps in the floor, you know, just handling business. I really enjoyed that weapon a lot. I think it was the coolest. I didn't have to use the sword and get up close. Steve can get up there and start getting his ass cut, and I can actually watch his back. Matt and I were actually...
Guys, you know, when I got the Moogle claws, everyone went to sleep.
That shit was funny the first time. The first time he did it, we walked out of the blacksmith. No, hold on. We rolled it up like they were Yamcha.
that shit was like Killer B went unconscious. It's like, wasn't knocked unconscious, didn't fall on, went unconscious. It was an instant.
The status might as well have been just he sleep.
He went night.
So you guys can't say any kind of status that was better than that one.
I
like the balloon. Because with the balloon they sat still like dumbasses, and then you just beat them up.
I was mad I never got to Moogle people. I was mad I never got to Moogle people.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
That's only their move. Only they get that move.
Only they can Moogle people.
Then they give you a Moogle belt.
Now, speaking of Moogles, there's actually
like 2 was 1, 3 or 4 was 2, that sort of shit.
Sort of.
It was like something like
Final Fantasy has a complicated story I don't feel like getting into. Fuck them anyway. Fuck you, Cloud.
Don't talk shit about Cloud or Barrett.
What's his name? Noctis, your sorry ass. I won't put that on record. Noctis, you suck. Except in Tekken, you're pretty dope. Anyway, dude's nice in Tekken.
Finally, somewhere he belongs.
Really, not Final Fantasy. I mean, a game of its own. And they believe that the Moogles may have come from that game first. Does that make sense?
I get you.
It's kind of like, we're not really sure, but we know that Moogles and the Mana series, Final Fantasy and the Mana series, they share that one thing. Besides being made from Square, Enix, Soft, whatever.
You don't need a From Software fucking secret of Mana.
You only get 5 heals.
This is called Dark Souls.
Oh, God.
No. It's called Dark Souls.
No.
I can see maybe the vampires. No. And Bloodborne, I can see vampires, but not.
I didn't fuck with Bloodborne.
I tried it.
I tried it too. I didn't. Yeah.
With the rifle.
Straight up.
Get the dogs on them. Get the dogs.
Hey. No,
that's a story for another day, y'all.
The most annoying little fucking enemy was probably the wolves for me.
The wolves?
No. Fuck no. It was Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes. Hedgehogs. And them hedgehogs, my goodness. Dude, they always hit hard.
Especially if they trap you in a corner and juggle you.
And then you can't hit them. They just like stay dodging. You be like, man, quit.
Because of his turn.
They just like,
they turn or they go underneath.
Right.
Or in the ground, I mean.
Yeah, they like go into a 3D plane on you when you can't hit them because you're 2D. And of course, getting a multi-tap back when I was like, 10, 11, 12. Who buy me a multi-tap?
Mm-hmm.
Ha.
Mom.
So, yeah.
Mom.
So like,
boy, no.
it's like over the years.